Dun, 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 dun. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Bum, 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 bum. What's up, party people in the house?
What up, though?
Welcome to Axies Live, one of the sexiest voices in the SFL,
Mr. Master.
Dave Axies. Holy smokes. Uh-oh. Did I do it? I muted myself. You're muted, bro. What's up, party people of the SFL? Man, I was so into watching all the other stuff, I forgot to unmute my own mic. Look at, I just gave you guys a chance to use that "you're muted, bro" emote you've been dying to use for God knows how long. You're welcome. Anyway, welcome to show 101. Episode 101 of Axies Live. What a way to start it off. What a night we've had so far already, right? London with just blowing up free agency and their show. They kicked off at 7 o'clock tonight. We had the schedule release show that just ended a few moments ago on with Cam and MSG. And I mean, we're going to talk some schedules. That'll be in the second half of the show, but we're definitely going to break down the stuff that went down at 8 o'clock. And then, of course, now at 9 o'clock tonight, episode 101 of Axies Live. We got another great panel, another mystery panelist, the whole 9 yards. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to recap the Axies Awards real quick. I'm not going to take a lot of time. I'm just going to go through the winners with the graphics. We're going to talk the SFLm championship game with some of the Salt Lake City coaches that are already in the green room ready to rock and roll. We're going to be interviewing them near the beginning of the show. Then we'll break down London's Season 17 signing show, the SFL schedule release show, and then we'll have some time to talk about re-signings of free agency and possibly some After Dark if we have some time. And I think I might be able to get at least one of those London free agents on in After Dark. Before I do that, though, I do want to wish a very happy anniversary to the Halls, the second best couple in the SFL. Nate and Kendra, I believe they're celebrating. I think this is anniversary number 2. If you guys are in the chat, Nate or Kendra, let me know. Is it number 2? I think so. Love you too, Doug. Yeah, I'll be there in just a second. And then, so happy anniversary to them. And then let me get to the party people here real quick. Let me see here. Let me see. Did Nate answer me? I don't know. Let me scroll back first. Let me check out all the party people in the chat so we can get this bad boy going. Biff Markham is in the house. London GM, that's Chad. Chad is here. Albert Begin. Crazy H 2000, that's Dwayne. That's what she said. I just found out who that was today, by the way. Nate Hall, Art Vandelay. Oh, look at Corey Mizzou already subscribing for 3 months. Corey, thank you, bro. Wait, is that really a Fox Highwind sighting? Say it ain't. I don't. You know who's pretending to be Fox Highwind in the chat? Bo Martin Jr., Mike Twinscrew, Bob Funk, Ray Ray's in the house, Hackers here, the lovely, amazing, perfect Pink Lisa, Marcus Dunhill, Hugo, MSG's in the house, Bo Martin Jr., I already said him, Mike All, Josh Farnsey, Frank the Franchise Wade, we got Freddie, we got Coach, we got Boomberry, we got the guy with the best first name in the SFL, David Leathers is in the house, Eddie Gage, what up, though, Bullet Boletsky, man, who's not here tonight? What night? AJ's in the house. What's up, AJ? DR Sim is back. And maybe, hey, if I miss you, make sure you at me. Kanye Rockefeller. Man, I don't know if he's ever been here. I know he's been here back in the day. Haven't seen him in a while. Oh, the old vet Ron Cochran's back in the house. Doug Clean Sheets Britton is here with us. Wow, we got a lot of people here. James Walters, 87. Kevin Say is here. Jimmy Hazard. Tanner, hey Tanner, congrats on the show tonight, bro. Tanner's here. James Klein is back. Man, it's amazing what happens when we got a lot to talk about. Everybody shows up. It's crazy. Um, Gunny's here, of course. BJ Loveless is in the house. Doug Day is here. Optimus Klein. I love you too, Optimus. I love you too, Dougie. Swole is back. Trident OG CYT. I don't know who you are, but I think that you are probably. I'm thinking that guy might be spam. I don't know. Master Gunner 5. Wow, there's a lot of people here. It might take me the whole show just to go through this. All right, I think that's it. If I missed you, please at me, and I will get you momentarily. Before we go to the panel, I missed out on something. Actually, you know what? No, let me introduce the panel first, and then I want to tell you guys. I want to thank. I'm sorry. I want to do this first. The video that you guys just watched, I just showed it again, or part of it in the intro. The video, the 2-minute video that was put together, that was an evolution of my show from show number 1 all the way to show number 100, was done by Tom Welsh. Everybody knows Tom Welsh. He's the head of social media for the SFL. I had a big note right here on my pad to make sure to tell him thank you. And what happened? I forgot to tell him thank you. So, Tom Welsh, I know it's late. Better late than never. Thank you for that wonderful video you put together for me for the Axies Awards and for my 100th show. I appreciate that. All right, now let me get to the panel here. In the unscripted circle, all you need to know about this guy is we never know where he's going to be inside his house when he pops on the camera. So here we go, everybody. Let's see where he is inside his house tonight. Welcome back, the general manager of Jacksonville, Mr. Mike All. Mike All, wait a minute. You're not inside your house.
I'm not inside my house, Dave. In fact, here's my house, Dave.
You are outside your... So we've all seen the inside of your house. Now we get to see the outside of your house. Dude, it's going to be dark there pretty soon, right?
Nah, I got a lamp right here. I'm good. I'm good.
All right, don't let those bugs get you, bro.
I got protection.
That's what she said. Hey, yo. All right, here we go. Moving on to the unfiltered circle. Somebody who is already having a huge night tonight. He had a huge night my last show, and he's having another one tonight. So, of course, we had to bring him on. Everybody welcome, please, the general manager of the London Knights, Chad Rowlands, in the house. Chad, congrats on the show. Congrats on all the free agent signings, and welcome back to the show, bro.
Yeah, thanks. It's been a long day, but I'm really excited about being able to talk about London's free agency finally. Thanks for everybody for tuning in, and thanks for having me on, Dave.
That was a great show. You got a little bit of an echo, just FYI. Double check your OBS Ninja mic maybe or something. I'm not sure. All right, in the unedited circle, somebody that is a friend of mine, but no longer a teammate. And guess what we get to do this season, folks? We get to play each other. And welcome back to the show, my friend, Coach Craven. I guess we should fix your camera a little bit. My bad. We didn't have a lot of time to test anything. I could see, like, your nose and above. Coach, welcome back to the show, bro. How you been, man? Oh, now you're muted, bro. That's 2 muted bros already. 101st show.
Wouldn't
we already
be,
got 2 muted bros.
It wouldn't be an Axis Live if it wasn't a little rocky at the beginning, right?
Exactly.
If I'd known that was going to be the first shot of me you'd get, I would have, like, something on my forehead, some kind of, finger or something, something
just
charming.
Happy the camera wasn't pointed a lot lower.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Agreed.
All right, welcome back, Coach.
It's good to be here.
All right, real quick, mystery panelists. We're going to do these hints kind of quick because we got a big show. We got a lot to talk about. The first hint, this person has been on the show many times. Boom, there's hint number 1. Wouldn't have had to point that much lower. Cam, Coach, you might want to respond to that in the chat. Let me see. This man also... it's another hint I could have here. How about Keanu Reeves? Is that a good hint? Or does that give it away? You think it gives it away? Does Keanu Reeves give it away? I see Eddie. I see Cam. Let me see. Mike. Oh, yeah, they're getting it. Of course, I said I knew that would give it away. But of course, our mystery panelist for tonight, the first time we've ever had one of the Sweet 16 as a mystery panelist, ladies and gentlemen, Bo Morpheus Jr. Bo, what's up, bro?
Well, I just wanted to tell you, Dave, I am not actually Bo. I'm his twin brother, Bubba. And so I just want to say hello to everybody out here in the SFL land. I thank y'all so much for having me on. I sure appreciate you.
You know what? My mistake. I got some bad intel from my producer, Dave Axies. He kind of screwed me over. So, Bubba, welcome to the
Bubba,
show.
yeah, my name's Bubba. I'm the twin brother, but I'm the older brother. I was born a good 10 minutes earlier. I was clean out the cooch way before Bo ever came around.
All right, Bubba Dacious. Thank you for that information that we will never be able to unlearn from you. I appreciate that.
Way out the cooch.
This is how we're going to do Show 101. All right, real quick, I want to run through these. We're going to do these real quick. I just, in case you weren't here, we had on the 100th show, we had the Axies Awards. The headwear of season 16 was won by Mr. Charles Doherty for, excuse me, for a cardboard flat bill hat. Oh, what am I on? Oh, there we go. So he was the first award winner of the night. Quote of the year went to Your Muta Bro, which obviously we still do a lot on this show, including this evening. Best intoxicated panelist of season 16 went to Chad Rowland and his bottle of whiskey. Partner of the season overwhelmingly went to Jack's Data. Moment of the season, Evan Lacey's Diva of the Week tribute. Show of the season went to the Shan and Damon interview. The mystery panelist of season 16 went to Cam Irvine. The panelist of season 16 went to Gunny. Party people of the season went to Cam Curtis and his 61 gift subs that he's given away. And then, of course, Diva of the season for season 16 was Evan Lacey. So I just wanted to recap those real quick for those of you who may not have been here last show to see all of the award winners from Thursday's 100th show and Axies award winners. All right, let's talk some minor league. Season 3 is a wrap. Salt Lake City was going to be taking on San Jose, number 4 versus number 3. The championship game that was on Sunday on Father's Day at 7 o'clock. And the graphic here from the SFL, after a pair of upsets in the semifinals, both the Salt Lake City Rustlers and the San Jose Flight are making their first appearances in the SFLm title game for one last chance at a win before many players get drafted into the big leagues. Don't know, even if you didn't watch it, if you didn't have time, if you're with your families, maybe you rewatched it. Either way, we all know that Salt Lake City won the SFL Minor League Season 3 championship over San Jose 20-12. And real quick, I've asked a few of those gentlemen from the Rustlers, a couple of the coaches that I know very well. I'm just going to introduce them all real quick. They don't need to respond yet, but Mike Twinscrew's in the house. Ross Napoli's in the house. B. Robo is in the house, and I think that's all that jumped in for right now. So let me pull up their info. I want to make sure I get their titles correct here. So first, let me bring on Ross Napoli, who is the head coach of Salt Lake City. He's also the general manager of Louisiana, obviously. Ross, welcome back to the show, bro. How are you?
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me. I'm doing real good, and we're happy to be champions in Season 3.
I bet you are. Also with us, the co-offensive coordinator, along with Frank the Franchise Wade, Mr. Mike Twinscrew. Mike, what's up, bro? How you been, man?
What's happening, SFL? What's happening, Dave? Good to be here. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming back. I really appreciate it. And then let me see. Do I see Robo's name on here? I think he's a scout, but either way, my longtime friend from the Marine Corps of the last 33 years, B. Robo is in the house, assistant GM of Louisiana, and I believe, Robo, are you a scout? I don't see your name on this list, but I'm assuming you're a scout.
I am a scout, Dave.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Ross, real quick, let me start with you. First of all, how's it feel to just be the champion of the SFL minor league season, but more importantly, doing it by your semifinal over Albuquerque and then to beat an outstanding San Jose team. That's pretty. Those are two really good teams you had to beat to win the whole championship.
They were probably two of the best teams that we played all year. They very similar teams run through their running backs, who are the two best running backs in the league. We are expecting both to be drafted this weekend with Douglas Brown and Jimmy Hazard. And it was tough preparing for them. Both teams defeated us in 2 of the last 3 weeks going into the playoffs. So we really knew we had our work cut out for us. But 2 quality teams that we needed to rebound from, and we did with excellent planning from the coaching staff. Mike Twinscrew has a lot to do with that. Chad Nevels, everyone played their part definitely, and we came out on top.
Yeah, Mike Twinscrew, let me go to you real quick. Co-offensive coordinator along with Frank. Albuquerque's defense is probably pretty tough, but how was it playing against the San Jose defense, who actually is another tough defense in the SFL minor league?
Yeah, their defense was real tough. Going through the Sims that week, every time, we were trying to throw to Kelsey Brown, she was double team, triple team, or whatever. So just swapped it over to A Sharp. He had a fantastic game. It was a tough game. Both of those games, Albuquerque and San Jose, very tough games. Definitely the toughest for the season.
Hey, Robo, scouting wise, who was tougher to scout for? I'm assuming the answer is Albuquerque, but once Albuquerque might have been the best team in the SFL minor league up until the last game, but the championship game there's more pressure to scout. So which team was tougher to scout for?
I mean, obviously, all the teams are tough, but going in late in the season, facing San Jose and Albuquerque were 2 tough opponents. So, but definitely Albuquerque, after wiping us before the playoffs happened, we had a chip on our shoulder and needed to come back strong.
Right. Robo, let me stick with you just for one more second. How do you like doing work in the minor league versus doing it in the major leagues here in the SFL?
Well, scouting is no small component, but Ross and Mike and all the coaches really deserve all the credit. They're the ones that went out there and put together a great game plan and really just put it together for this team.
Robo, thanks for being here, bro. Twinscrew, going back to you. Only 20 points on San Jose from your offense. Were you expecting a low-scoring game like this, or did you have higher hopes after beating Albuquerque?
No, I expected a total shootout in this game.
Yeah.
It was just the sim that we got. Art and I were messaging each other during the game, and we were like, what the hell is this sim? Things like that. No, we're expecting a total shootout, and we didn't get that at all.
Yeah. Mike, thanks for coming on the show as well. I'm going to wrap up here with Ross. Ross, look, most of your team from Louisiana is on this staff. Is there any way to take this kind of momentum with your staff and going into season 17 of the SFL here in just a few weeks?
I do, because I think these guys have been very excited about what they've been doing. Obviously Mike's been coaching in Louisiana, for 2 seasons now, as well as in Salt Lake, with Robo being with me there. The momentum is definitely going to carry in more than one way, because not only are these guys like in the groove and understanding different elements as we were moving on. Like you said, we had to, in short turn, within a month span, play both of those teams twice, really break down and analyze how we played them the first time. And, frankly, I said it on Ashley's show the other day with a couple of the players, and I'm going to say it again. San Jose and Albuquerque, the first time around, they both handed our ass to us.
Right.
I mean, they just literally beat us from the beginning to the end of the game. So for this coaching staff to revamp that entire game plan, and credit goes to Mike to realize San Jose is probably going to be focusing on Kelsey. We have to find a way to get it to A sharp. We have to take it out of Kelsey's hand and into those are the types of things that I think can be brought to the next level. And of course, there's no secret that we get to bring some of the guys who were coaching on San Jose against us in that game and bring that right over to Louisiana as well. So I think all of the game planning that was in that championship game definitely converts right over to the pros and gets us ready for season 17 in Louisiana.
Awesome. Before you guys bounce, you three real quick, I want to go to Coach for a moment. Coach, first of all, what a turnaround for San Jose from season 1 to now in season 3 in the championship game and literally 9 points away from a championship. Do you look at this 8-point loss to Salt Lake City as a win for Salt Lake, or do you still kind of feeling, kind of bummed about losing kind of thing?
Oh, well, listen, we've all been around long enough to know that winning and losing is part of the deal, and sometimes sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I'm proud of the work that Vandelay, Will Todd, Colin Pierce, Evan Lacey, Yogi, Doug, everybody did for San Jose, and they've been doing that work for 3 seasons. Some of those guys have been doing that for 3 seasons there. And it just came together, and it wasn't our day, and that's it's part of the deal. You gotta learn to roll with that. I'm proud of the guys, proud of the work they put in, and it is what it is. Of course, you're disappointed not to come away with a win, but how can I be that disappointed when my guys are in the other locker room too? So
right. That's a good point.
Roll with the punches, and they'll be back. San Jose is going to be back.
Yep. Gotcha. Last question on this topic before we move on to London. And ironically, it's going to go to Chad. Chad, you are a head coach in the minor league. Just fell just short of the playoffs, to be honest with you. I thought you guys would be in the playoffs. What did you think overall about this third minor league season, the playoffs, and then the championship game on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, this is my first year as an SFLm head coach, and these teams are tough. Like all these coaching staffs, I mean, all these guys are coaches in the pros, or they're getting ready to be coaches in the pros, and the 2 teams that were in there were the 2 teams that were just playing tough all season. Kudos goes out to Ross and Twin Screw and them guys for winning the championship. Coach Craven, all those guys that are there in San Jose. That's a hell of a turnaround. Like that needs to be publicized a lot more. Was how good San Jose became. Yeah. But it was definitely a learning experience for us in Lexington for sure. We had 2 returning players from the season before, but I tried to make it the best for the Indianapolis members, former members of Indianapolis to have a good team represented. But we fell a little short, but that's okay. We're going to come back next season strong, and looking for us to be in the SFLm championship. So. But like I said, for the rest of the SFLm teams and everything, kudos to all these coaching staffs, kudos to all these players, and I can't wait to be able to either draft one or see everybody else get drafted this weekend.
Awesome, thank you, Chad. All right, Ross, Twin Screw, and Robo, congratulations on the SFL Minor League Season 3 title, and thanks for coming on the show tonight and answering a few questions for everyone.
Thank you very much, Dave. And if I could just say one more thing, I don't want to skip over the fact that another person on our staff on your panel tonight, Mike All, is someone who is part of that Salt Lake City locker room.
I'm sorry, I didn't even see him on there.
That's okay.
Look at that, he just made himself disappear.
And and Mike does a great job in the locker room with the guys, as does Slyn, who couldn't be on tonight with us.
Okay.
To really be there to help these guys with their builds, as well as scouting and doing other things for us. So I don't want him to go unmentioned. And last but not least, Salt Lake is your favorite team. So, I just want to make sure that everybody knows out there now that Salt Lake is your favorite Miners team.
Listen,
correct?
You got part of that right. My favorite team does start with an S, but unfortunately they fell 8 points short. I was about to ask Mike All a quick question, but I guess he doesn't want to be on the show anymore.
I'm still here today.
Oh, yeah, he's having internet issues, I think, because he's sounding very garbled. He was, Ross. He was perfectly fine until you had to bring that up. I'm just saying. I'm just
We've
saying.
exposed issues when he lines up outside of his house.
Well, let's see. We'll try to get Mike all back. In the meantime, gents, thanks again for being on, and congrats on the big SFLm Season 3 championship.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you very much.
You got
Thanks,
it.
Dave.
Yeah, thanks, Dave, and I also want to give a shout out to Bo or Bubba, whoever's here tonight. That as a former wrestler, they won this one for us, man.
Oh, there you
Yep.
go. There you go.
You doggone right they did. And I'll make sure that Bo knows what you said.
All right. That being said, let's move on to the 7 o'clock portion of the evening tonight. We had the 7, 8, 9s, and we kicked things off with London and their season 17 signing show. And I mean, Chad, obviously I need to start with you. Actually, you know what, Bubba, I'm going to start with you first. We'll save Chad for last, and then we'll see if we can get Mike all back on here. But just to recap, I want to make sure we got everybody. London just blowing up free agency tonight, signing Johnny, MSG, Wyo, Rain Rowe, Tony Roberto, Cam Frosby, and I'm sorry, real quick, what's Butch's last name?
Menor.
What is it?
Butch Menor.
Butch Menor. A lot of big name free agencies. Bubba, which ones stood out the most to you, or which ones were surprising? Did any of them shock you? MSG, thank you for putting that in the chat too. Appreciate that.
You know, I tell you what, Dave. I have watched this SFL all season, and you know what shocked me? It wasn't Johnny 2K. It wasn't him, because everybody and their mama knew he was going to London. That was like the worst kept secret in the SFL, right? You know what knocked the nut from my squirrel? Let me tell you. That MSG, when he turned around and left
the other way
Jacksonville,
around.
when he turned around and left Jacksonville, everybody and their auntie's uncle brother was wondering where in the world was he going.
Yeah.
And doggone if that cotton picking man didn't show up in London. That knocked my pants off, Dave.
Dude,
knocked them off.
I'm
right here. I'm in my drawers right now
believe
because
you.
of what MSG did.
I believe you, but please don't stand up, or I might have to give you one of these bad boys right
I'm
there.
in my drawers, Dave.
If I'm trying to go to Mike All with this, I mean, but Bubba, MSG just didn't get out of Jacksonville. He got out of the whole damn country, bro. He went overseas.
He left the country. I don't know if they revoked his visa or if I don't know. He may have some warrants. Somebody may want to take a look at his criminal record.
Probably maybe we should maybe we can get MSG on After Dark and ask him those personal questions. What do you think, Bubba?
I'll tell you what though. London shocked the mess out of me. That's one of the reasons why I'm in my drawers right now.
Mike All, do we have you back yet?
In my drawers.
There you go. Mike, I know it's probably bittersweet and probably more bitter than sweet to see MSG and Rain Rowe going over Rain Rie going over to Jacksonville. So obviously that was probably tough to watch tonight. But what else did you come away with from the London show earlier this evening?
So some unknown or little known quarterback signed with them too. Johnny something.
I didn't catch that part.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that at all.
Yeah. But Chad and Tanner and Liam, they all did a great job at bringing some people in that are really going to make a big difference. And good on them for landing some quality guys in MSG and Rain Rie and Butch Menor. He's going to be big on that line, and Anthony Wyo is going to be big in that defensive backfield. It's going to be quite the show to watch.
Real quick, let me check the chat real quick. I haven't checked in a second. MSG actually saying he can come on. So if we can get him, maybe Johnny on After Dark, that would be a lot of fun. Anybody else, Chad, that you might be able to DM to get him on here? Cam saying no one wants to hear from that lunatic. And look, Bubba, I guess the force is with you as well, as you just threw Coach into the Matrix. I guess you and your brother have that in common. And Doug Day saying, question of the night, will Axies resign with LSG? Why are you asking that question, Doug? Why is that even a question? I don't understand. Chad, let's go to you. I was going to go to Coach, but I think he's having issues. Unless, Coach, you can hear me. Coach, are you with us?
I can hear you. I'm just muted, bro.
Oh, okay. No, you were in the Matrix there for a moment. Give me your impressions on the humongous London free agency show earlier this evening.
Well, hey, a lot of great signings there. Mike St. Green, quality guy. I love that guy. I think Butch Menner is a big pickup for them. Having an offensive lineman is going to be a lot of help. Yeah, it's a nice signing. If they think Johnny's going to make a difference from the quarterback they had last year, they're kidding themselves. Good luck, Chad. No, yeah, has the coaching changed at all? I'm just wondering.
The anything coaching change in London?
Yeah, in London.
Chad?
I mean, I am officially head coach. I wasn't officially last year, but yes.
All right.
So
Good
no,
luck.
technically from last season, no.
Okay. There's a lot of nice moves that they made there. I love to see London do well. I'm always rooting for them. All of those signings are not ones I would have done, but it ain't my team. So, God bless.
Gotcha. All right, Chad. Let's wrap this part up with you as we're getting some comments in here too. London may need running back help. You can address that here in a moment. And we know, I mean, of all the people, we've been tough on your running back on this show. People were talking about, why are people talking about my sleeves? Axies will retire. Axies will never retire. Axies is retiring, but his sleeves will play on. What the hell is going on in the chat right now? Chad, take us through your thoughts just quickly on each player and your overall sense of your free agency. I mean, I'm just going to put it out there right now. I think you guys won free agency. You blew it up tonight. I think you won the whole thing, but give me your thoughts on it. And I know you've probably been chomping at the bit for weeks as it is, but give me some, give us some overview of all the players that you signed just really quickly.
Yeah. So first, let me give a lot of kudos to the cover man of the tight end calendar, Benji Matson. Putting, and you know better than anybody, Dave, putting a show on like that is tough.
It's not as easy as it looks, bro.
Benji did a tremendous job, so I want to get that out first, right? Benji was amazing. Congrats to him on what he did. I mean, just phenomenal. And I look forward to the show that we will have this season, which we'll give out more details about that down the road. But going through free agency, I'll start from the defense and work my way back, right? So obviously, a lot of people talk about Anthony Wyo. That's kind of the questionable signing, I guess, in people's minds. DR Sim, saying in the chat, and then, people talking about builds and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, this is the thing, right? We had some pretty good safeties back there last season. Marquise Reed goes off to Fort Worth. Barry Barkley's still unsigned so far, at least if I remember correctly. But getting to people like Anthony Wyo and Rain Rhea. So here's the thing that people got to think about. The build for Wyo is a really good build in my mind. It just depends on the style of defense that you play, obviously, right? Some players don't play well in certain defenses. So hopefully with what I've seen before I signed Wyo, I did a lot of testing with defenses on my side. He looked pretty good, pretty damn good. So I'm pretty excited to see what he could do on the field. Rain Rhea was the draft pick that got stolen from me from Frank. Should have had him in season 15 in Baltimore, but hey, it didn't work out. I got him back. He wanted to be a strong safety, the entire time that he was in the SFL. And so now, now I got him back. I'm really excited to have him. I've been wanting this since season 15, to be honest. Tony Roberto, a guy that was a captain for 2 seasons in St. Louis, wasn't really too thrilled with whatever problems he had over there. But coming to London with a fresh look and being able to be a linebacker, we got to, work on some stuff, through practice and stuff like that. But that's what practice is for, right? To get you built better.
There you go.
Yeah, Cam Frosby was a really good signing. Cam was a guy that comes over from Sioux Falls. With the way that the defensive line is in the draft, it's just not a strong position. And we lost 2 guys. We still have one announcement that we're going to make. We haven't announced our final free agent signing yet, but we will probably here in the next day or two once we get that wrapped up. So Cam coming over is a really big piece. I think he's going to be a strong run stopper alongside William Davidson in the middle. That's going to be nasty. Butch Menner was a free agent that I was really excited to bring.
Yeah, I could tell that on the show.
Oh, I was so pumped up about Butch Manor. Like I just nuts. I mean, these next three guys. I mean, I was pumped up about all of them, but the next three I was really excited about. And actually all of them really, but I'm not going to give certain favoritism. But Butch was a guy. He's just nasty, right? Nasty offensive line build. He's one of the best offensive linemen, actually the best offensive lineman in the league. Kind of what Coach and other people have said about the run game. Needing some help on the running side of the ball. That's somebody that I think is going to really help us out a lot. Is Butch Minner, and then Mike St. Green, man. I mean, the guy who makes Cam look good, right? Is Mike St. Green. Let's just call it like it is. So Mike St. Green coming over, he's such a talent from Jacksonville. And having the 1-2 punch of him and Vin Calia is giving Johnny his best weapons. I believe that he's had since he's been in the league.
Well, and Saren Storm coming back, yeah.
After Saren Storm coming back as well.
Yeah, so take us through that real quick. I think Liam touched on it the other night when he was here, but he didn't retire, right? He just became a free agent, and then he decided to come back.
So Saren and I had a conversation, and he wanted to test free agency, kind of see what was out there. He was wanting a different opportunity a little bit, so I gave him that shot. He was able to talk to a few teams, but at the end of the day, with what we had going on in London and who was coming back, who was coming to London and, who was going to be throwing him the ball, he was really excited and he wanted to come back and make it a season to remember. But like I said, Mike St. Green, just the talent on the field is just worth it. I mean, the guy is just phenomenal. He's such a great locker room presence. All these guys I've had great conversations with about locker room and the Knights code. And then you move on to the quarterback that everybody loves to hate, right? Obviously,
you love to love or you love to hate. Hey, real quick, also, I want to piggyback on one comment you made. I completely agree. It's no easy task making Cam Irvine look good, so big kudos to MSG. But you were going to say about Johnny?
Yeah, I mean, MSG's got the toughest job in the SFL, right? I mean,
he does. It's not even close. That's not even close.
Tough.
Yeah.
But so Johnny, man, the quarterback that everybody loves to hate, right? But it's kind of like I said on the signing show. Obviously, this is a guy that I have actually wanted to bring. I wanted to bring in Baltimore when the possibility that Mike Dazza was going to retire. This is somebody I went and talked to TJ about. I said if we can figure out how to get him, let's have a conversation. But went a different direction with Jack Wigmore. Jack Wigmore's a good quarterback for Baltimore, so kudos to him. But me and Johnny have developed such a great relationship off the field. Him actually coming to my house and meeting my wife and my kids and stuff. We developed that relationship. And one of the things that I do want to reiterate, which I said on the show, one of the key things that I needed to make sure that Johnny knew was that this decision was going to come down to Angus McLean, right? Angus is a London Knight through and through. When we talked about the retirement, I said, I have a person in mind. I said, but I want you to talk to him and see what you think. Because this is passing the torch, right? And so, once Angus had a couple conversations with Johnny, and he came back to me and he was like, "This is who I want to take over, right? This is the guy." And once we got him in a conversation with Liam and Tanner and the rest of the front office, everybody else agreed this is the guy that was gonna take us over the top, right? Johnny UK. I mean, this is what he does. So, really excited to bring him in. This free agency class, I think, is the best free agency class that I've seen since I've been into the league, hands down in my mind. And with the turnaround that we've done here in London, it's kind of like I told the guys before. 2 seasons ago, I don't think anybody would have came to London. Nobody would have wanted to come to London.
I think most of us would agree with that.
And so bringing in, like I said, bringing in Johnny, bringing in a Mike St. Green, who Mike St. Green can tell you if he's on here and talks. We literally were at the bottom of his list. We were probably in the bottom 3. Right. And so to be able to get a guy like that, get a guy like Butch Minner, Rain Rhea, Tony Roberto, Cam Frosby, Anthony Wyo, this is going to be a hell of a team this season. And I'm really, really excited about the London Knights.
That's awesome. So we got a bunch of characters here tonight, folks. We got Bubba in the house. Coach keeps going into the Matrix. Chad's on cloud 9, and now we have the golden child over here, Mike All, with the sun setting on his head. Chad, thanks for all the updates. Congrats on a humongous free agency, and congrats on the show tonight.
Yeah, thank you. And I hope that this is a show that people can use as a platform for their announcements. Kudos to the league, kudos to Cam and Gary Taylor and Liam and these guys that were involved, Tom Rahman behind the scenes to make this automation process what it is. This whole signing show, this whole thing wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for that automation process. So thank you, Cam, and the rest of the league once again.
I agree. Sorry, bro. Art Vanderlei, what if a bird craps on Michael's head? Dude, that would be a live, hey, breaking news always, right? We're always doing something crazy here. All right. Hey, Gunny, are you around by any chance? I think we're going to go to you now. And before we get to talking about all the SFL Season 17 schedule. So, Gunny, are you here with us? Gunny going once. Anybody see Gunny? He's muted. Are you muted, bro? Is that our third muted, bro? Or is Gunny just not here right now? And look at Ray on top of stuff from the halls of Montezuma.
Gunny's here. He just couldn't hit the right button.
All right, no worries, Gunny. You are good to go whenever you're ready, buddy.
Well, everybody keeps saying Nate and Kendra, the number one SFL couple in the community.
I think I said number 2, but go ahead.
Oh, that's true. Well, I'm going to go with MSG and Cam as the best couple in the SFL.
I don't know if anybody can argue with that.
Yeah, don't you see their conversation in the chat room? It's entertaining.
They do act like a married couple, that's for sure.
Congratulations to the SFL. I mean, the Salt Lake City Wrestlers, Ross, Twin Screw, Robo, Michael, Mr. Garrison Blue. Congratulations on the championship win. Art Vanderlei, Coach Craven, and all his staff on San Jose. What a hell of a season for you guys. Being the third season, you finally made it to the playoffs and made it a really hell of a game for the championship. Congratulations to both teams. Congratulations to all the teams in the minor leagues and to all the players. Good luck to everybody in the draft coming up this Saturday and Sunday. Congratulations to all these free agents: London, Louisiana, Lone Star Glory, Fort Worth, Mexico City, all the South Division. Love the scheduling show. I'm going to have to look at my schedule a little later tonight. Good luck to everyone. We're ready for the season to kick off. See you at the convention. That is all.
Awesome. Thank you, Gunny. Yeah, the convention's going to be awesome. That's going to be off the chain. And those week 3 games, woo, doggy. We're going to talk about some of those here in just a moment. Michael, you're back with us, right?
No, I'm in the front, Dave. This is the front.
Oh, that's the front of the house. My bad. Real quick, I just want to remind everybody before we start talking about the Season 17 schedule show that popped on at 8 o'clock this evening. We've only got a couple more days, apparently, for people to re-sign. We've got the rookie draft coming up, like Gunny mentioned. Transactions close on July 3rd, the All-Star game on July 10th. And then 24th of July, we kick things off, and when we're at the convention, we'll be in week 3. Schedule release show tonight. Michael, let me start with you. There's a lot to talk about here. Just first thing off top of your head, what stood out the most from the schedule release show, other than Mike, trying to make Cam look good?
Well, I mean, Mike makes everybody look good.
I meant MSG, not you.
No, yes, that's who I meant also. I make no one look good, Dave.
Okay. You make that Golden Child thing look pretty good right now, though.
Yeah. Well, I want the knife or whatever.
I want the knife.
I'm looking forward to the live games at the convention. There's a lot of storylines to look forward to. There's a lot of heated rivalries that we'll be able to experience in person, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep. Chad, what about you? What stood out the most from the schedule release show earlier this evening?
Yeah, I mean, besides, how good Mike St. Green was doing. No, I mean, just the games that were, going to be at the convention. I think those are the ones that stood out to me. And I think also the fact that, a certain team wasn't on my schedule, but that's fine. I'm not worried about it. But at the end of the day, with the opening schedule and then the week 3 schedule, I can't wait to get this season going.
Coach, what about you? What stood out the most?
Well, I was sitting there looking at a lot of those games on the schedule, and I was thinking, "Oh, tough schedule." Oh, wait a minute, that team's completely rebuilding.
Yes.
We still need to wait and see, right?
Right.
We're going to go into this season. I don't think Denver's going to fall off that far. For example, but they are the defending champions, and at first blush, you're like, "Oh, Denver," but they're replacing a lot of people. Things like that. There's a lot of teams that had a lot of movement changes, and so it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun to not know. Every week we're going to talking like we know what's going to happen, and it's not going to be until about week 5 that we get a picture of what some of these teams can do.
That's kind of how it is every season. Yeah.
Right. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm not remembering it well, but it just feels more in flux this season than last season. There's only a couple of teams that I look at and I just go, yeah, that's gonna, oh wow, that's gonna be a tough team. The rest of them, I'm like, probably a tough team, or maybe not. Whatever. I don't know. It feels more in flux to me, and that's fun. That's just fun. It's fun to go into the season with that kind of uncertainty and to get to see it play out. Obviously, the convention's going to be fantastic. I had to talk Doug off the ledge because he was just certain we were going to play Lone Star week 3, and then he.
You know what? To be honest with you, I thought so too. That's one of the things I was waiting for. In week 3, I was either thinking Lone Star, Louisiana, or London, Louisiana. I was thinking one of those two for sure.
Yeah, I did expect. Yeah, I did too. But apparently, yeah. Like I said, there's much wailing and gnashing of teeth, and I saw a Twinkie go flying past. I mean, he threw a Twinkie. That's how upset he was.
Whoa.
No, I know.
That's
it's just
terrible.
crazy. But
well, let me move on to Bubba real quick. Bubba, just first impressions of the schedule release show that kicked off at 8:00 tonight.
Well, Dave, I'm gonna tell you, I took a look at this schedule with a fine-tooth comb, and I came up with one thing. I looked at that schedule. I said, you know what? Every single team in the SFL has a tough schedule, but the cream shall rise to the top. But I'll tell you what, 80% of these teams got schedules tough as a 67-year-old titty. I mean, I could not tell you a team that had an easy schedule. But I'll tell you one thing. It's sure gonna be worth watching, but the cream shall rise to the top, Dave. It's gonna rise. There's gonna be some teams that go 9-3, some teams that go 8-4, but then guess what else, Dave?
What?
It's gonna be some teams that might not win a game. I mean,
wait, what? That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in the SFL, bro.
Hey, you never know, Dave. It might just happen. You know what I mean?
You never know.
So,
you never know.
Keep an eye on a couple of teams that could either go 1-11. You heard it here first, Dave. Remember, Bubba told you. Keep an eye on some teams. Might go 1-11. I'll tell you who they are as they go along. Might go 1-11. There might even be another 0-12 team, but we'll have to wait and see. But the rest of the cream shall rise.
We'll have to wait and see. All right, let's talk opening weekend first. I go back to Mike All. Michael, I don't know if you've got the graphics up. Eagle put them in that one room for us right there. Opening weekend, Jacksonville, Denver, LA, Baltimore, DC, Vancouver, Queen City, Fort Worth, Lone Star, Mexico City, Charleston, Vegas. That's the first 6 games. Second 6, St. Louis, Tulsa, which to me I think might be the most intriguing opening weekend match. Portland, Houston, Atlanta, London, Carolina, Louisiana, San Diego, Sioux Falls, another intriguing matchup there, and then Florida, Arizona. What sticks out to you and why? Michael, are you talking? Are you muted, bro?
I was muted, bro.
Oh my God, that's 4. I think we're gonna have more in this show than we did in the first 100 shows. Unbelievable. Go ahead.
Well, this is the start of a new 100, Dave. So we got you.
There you go.
There's a lot, and as our fans know, I'm always biased. I'm gonna look forward to our game, the Kings versus Denver, to see which team actually retools better and comes out stronger for it. Game 1 right away.
Okay. Chad, what about you? Those first 12 games, opening weekend, what's the most intriguing to you? What looks good?
I mean, there's a few actually. I mean, to be honest, I mean, Louisiana and Carolina, I think is an intriguing game. You know, with the off season that Louisiana's had, which has been pretty good. I got to admit.
Yeah.
You know, seeing whoever the rookie quarterback is going to be, seeing how they adjust, see how they adjust that offense and that new look defense that they got too is going to be really good. Carolina, new quarterback Matt South. How's that offense going to look with Matt South at the helm? We'll see. Is he going to have the Portland Matt South, or is it going to be the Matt South we all knew from back in the day? Florida versus Arizona. Arizona, once again, Eddie Gage just gets no love from Cam when it comes to the schedule. I don't know what the deal is with that, but whatever. That's going to be a really good game as well. And then I'll take ours for a minute. Getting off on the right start with the offense that we put together. Seeing that Pickler to St. Green connection.
Yeah.
Atlanta's still going to be a tough team though. So, going in there and then just starting off on the right foot. I think that's a good one. St. Louis and Tulsa, that's another one too. That's going to be intriguing too. How that
I like that game.
Christian Brown is going to have a sophomore slump. We'll see. But then Tulsa, they got a couple new weapons as well, so it should be an interesting game.
Coach, what about you?
Took mine, but I understand because, like you said, he's biased. I think that's going to be interesting to see two storied franchises with a little bit of a rebuild going on.
Yep.
It would be easy for a lot of people to overreact to whatever the result is of that game, and so yeah, that's one I'll be watching. Florida and Arizona is definitely one I'm going to be watching. Florida is one of the teams that I feel like is poised to. They could get back in the championship. They've had a couple of changes, but they adapted to those really well. And then Arizona, we saw Arizona rise a little bit last season, and if they continue with that, and I think they could, then and they've made some nice acquisitions. So that's a game I'm going to be watching really closely. Week one, you watch them all, right? But yeah, those are the ones that jumped out to me at first, and I had forgotten about Matt South going to Carolina. Xander Gold was there last season, so good quarterback too. But you get ready for who you got to play. That is what it is. But yeah, the first two games I mentioned, those are the ones I'm looking at the most.
Bubba, what about you? 12 games, opening weekend, of course. Lots been talked about already. Jacksonville, Denver, St. Louis, Tulsa. What do you think? You brought up the whole 0-12 thing. What do you think about the Jalen Wells going back to Sioux Falls, playing his old team on that game, and what else stood out to you?
Well, Dave, you must be reading my mind like you can see through this hat, because I got to tell you, that's exactly where I was going with this. And let me tell you why. The San Diego Mavericks didn't win a game. I don't know if y'all heard about this, but the first team in SFL history went 0-12. I don't know if y'all might have heard about it. Now,
breaking news here on Access Live right now. Go ahead.
Now, the reason why that's important is because they play a team that kind of struggled last year, right?
Okay.
Now, this might be, and I don't know, this might be one of the few chances that San Diego has to get a victory this year. So all eyes, for me at least, are going to be on this San Diego game to see if they stand a chance of going 0-24. Oh, did I say that out loud?
Oh,
now,
snap. Okay.
I just want to say that this game might be their best chance to break this streak, because if not, it's going to be a long season for San Diego. You heard it here first.
Well, let's stick with San Diego for a moment. Michael, let me go back to you. I'm looking at San Diego's schedule. They play at Sioux Falls. Then they have to play a tough Houston team who just barely missed the playoffs. They have to play Portland, who we said on this show many times is probably the next season's Fort Worth. They got to play St. Louis, a playoff team, Arizona, a playoff team, Vancouver, a playoff team. Charleston didn't make the playoffs, but Charleston's always Charleston. Then Fort Worth, a playoff team, St. Louis again, Portland again, Tulsa again, and LA again. It's almost all playoff teams except for Sioux Falls and Charleston. Where if they don't win that first game, where else do they get a victory next season?
It's a tough schedule. Yeah, if they don't beat Sioux Falls, man, Look for a shot at an upset the week 2 and week 3. Maybe week 11. Other than that, that's a tough lineup.
It's a tough. I don't think anybody has easy schedules in the SFL anymore, bro.
No, based on my schedule, no, it is not the case at all. But they've brought in some new parts, and I think they got some things in order and figured some things out from last season. They might shock us.
They might. Chad, let's talk about Portland for a moment. We've said on this show, I've said on this show, could potentially be next season's Fort Worth. They start off at Houston, though. Then they got to play Baltimore. They get to play San Diego and Sioux Falls at a rebuilding Denver. Then you guys have to travel to them, London, and then Vegas, a tough DC team, LA, San Diego again, and they close with Atlanta and Vancouver. So, based on that schedule, can Portland be season 17's Fort Worth?
It's a tough road. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, they got. I think they probably have one of the tougher schedules in the league, if I remember correctly. At least in my mind, the way it looked. I'm pulling it up right now as I'm looking at it here. Starting off in Houston, that's going to be an interesting game because, it's kind of like what I alluded to about London. You want to start off on the right foot, right? It'll be the battle of rookie quarterbacks from what it looks like, as Houston will have a rookie quarterback as well. Then you get Baltimore. Everybody's going to say that San Diego, that's a win or whatever. I don't think so. And I know that what Bubba's saying over there in the corner, but I got to tell you, I think San Diego is going to be a lot better. I think the people that they're bringing in, who I think they'll get in the draft, I'm not sure, but could be a game changer for them. That's not going to be an easy schedule. Do I see Portland being a playoff team? It just all depends on how good that rookie quarterback plays.
Right.
Because we know what Ezekiel Love can do, right?
Right.
We know what that can do. It's going to be what can the quarterback do.
Real quick, DR Sim, I didn't have the graphics in time to put them up for the show, but we will discuss this again on Thursday, and I'll get all the graphics on there. So in 2 days, now that I have all the graphics, I'll put them in the show, and then we will discuss this again on Thursday, a little more briefly than we are tonight, but we will do it. Coach, Arizona, Eddie Gage, Ashley Jackson. Last season when they came out with the new divisions, and then we saw Eddie's schedule, and he was in that tough West Division. Everybody was like, good night, Arizona. And what did they do? They came out with one of the best offenses in the league and made the playoffs. Here's how their schedule comes out. They got to start off a couple weeks tough, right? Florida and Fort Worth. Queen City, who's a wild card this year. We're not sure what they're going to do. At a rebuilding Denver, at San Diego and then at home against Sioux Falls. That's a pretty good string for them right there, those 3 games. Then you get into divisional play, LA, Vancouver. You got to play Lone Star. You get Sioux Falls again, but then you wrap it up with Mexico City and Vegas. So I would say of the few teams that we've gone over their schedule so far, they've got that little chunk in the middle that seems to be a little favorable towards them. How do you see it?
I think that Arizona's poised to make a real jump. An 8-win, 9-win, 10-win season, potentially, if things go their way. They made a fantastic signing with Will Todd. Everybody knows I love Will Todd. He's the freaking best around. He is a lights-out scout, and Eddie has not had that before. So he's going to have some support that he hasn't had. They're automatically, look at what he did last season with that team, basically by himself. He added some other nice pieces. I just think that Arizona is poised to do really well. Obviously, things sometimes don't go your way. I think you're right. They start out with a couple of not easy games. Cam obviously doesn't like Eddie for some reason. I don't know what the problem is. But,
Cam doesn't like anybody, bro.
I'm on your side, Eddie. But they do. You're right. Based on history, they have a nice little stretch there, kind of in the middle, where they could potentially kind of pad the resume a little bit, get some get some momentum going, and really just be cruising along really well.
Let me throw something else interesting at you, Coach. That division, and correct me if I'm wrong. The West Division is Denver, Sioux Falls, Arizona, and Vegas. Correct? Going into last season, everybody knew Denver and Sioux Falls were the two teams to beat. Has that actually flip-flopped? Is it going to be Vegas and Arizona this season? Are the two teams to beat in that division?
It could, sure, it could, because obviously Vegas is on the rise as well, and Arizona's doing what they're doing. Sioux Falls is back behind their wall there in the Great Plains doing their thing in secret. It's hard to say. And then Denver, I keep saying they're going to be Denver's going to be fine. Yes, we're not going to call them contenders because of all the changes and everything, but nobody's going to overlook Denver. You're a fool if you do.
Right.
But on paper, they have a lot of changes, lost a lot of iconic players. At the beginning of the season, it's not foolish at all to say that it has potentially flipped and inverted in that division.
Bubba, I want to talk about one more team. And then I want to talk about the games that are going to be live at the convention. We'll go through all you guys on that as well. But before we do that, I want to talk about the runner-ups from last season. I want to talk about Florida. Florida, 3 point or a couple points from a championship, right? They have to travel to that tough Arizona team that we talked about. They have to play an unknown rebuilding Jacksonville team, then an unknown rebuilding Denver team. But then they got to travel through the South, right? They got Fort Worth, Mexico City, and Houston back to back to back. Then they get to go to St. Louis, who is another playoff team. Then another wild card in Queen City, a non-playoff team with Charleston, and then this crazy free agent London team. And then they wrap up at Jacksonville and at Carolina. Based on the games I told you now, is that a favorable season for the number 2 seed from last year or an unfavorable season?
No, it ain't no favorable season. Let me tell you something, Dave. This schedule I'm looking at right here is harder than a double dose of Viagra. All right, now, listen to me. If you break down the schedule, first thing you see, and we all saw what Arizona did to Denver last year. They almost took them clean out. So you got Arizona, right? Now, you never know what Jacksonville's going to do because they're in their whatever they all are calling it these days, rebranding, rebuilding, whatever. Anyway, but one thing we do know is they got an all-star quarterback coming back. So you know they're going to be contenders, right? And then here come those Super Bowl the championship champions, the Denver Nightwings. I mean, I'm looking through this schedule, and I don't see any easy wins. So I'll tell you what, I'm not going to make any bold predictions on where Florida's going to end up, but I'll tell you what, in comparison to their schedule last year, this was night and day right here.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. Next round of questions real quick, starting with Mike All again, it's just about dark there, Mike. Convention. All right, so like we said, Coach and I both commented, I think we kind of expected maybe Louisiana Lone Star, Louisiana London, something like that. We have Arizona Queen City, London Fort Worth, Jacksonville Atlanta, Vegas Mexico City. The 7 p.m. game, which I guess is kind of the primetime game, is Lone Star Carolina. I think that was Cam mentioned that those are the two teams with the most people coming to the convention. And then the nightcap is Louisiana, Vancouver, which is going to be a barn burner too. Which of those 6 games stands out to you and why?
Well, let me just tell you something first before I answer that, Dave. Cam did just break some news in the chat that you might want to look up on that.
What? Go ahead and say it, bro. I can't always
so,
follow. Go ahead.
I'm looking forward
I see
to.
It. I'm sorry. Do you mind if I get to that real quick?
No, Dave. Go ahead and break it.
Let me see if I can. I don't even know if I have the. Cam always does this to me, right? He always throws breaking news during the show when I'm not ready for it. You could have told me ahead of time. I could have prepared for it. Breaking news. Carolina hires former Houston GM and Assistant Director of Player Personnel, Ryan Michaels. Congratulations, Ryan Michaels. Congratulations, Carolina, Harish. James and all you guys. Mike, thanks for pointing that out to me. I can't always catch everything in the chat, so I appreciate you guys. So back to the convention games. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm going to dig deep, Dave, dig deep into my bag of bias.
Oh.
Of course, the one I'm looking most forward to, the one that's going to be the most exciting, is former league MVP, former championship MVP for the Jacksonville Kings, Marcus Dunhill, going up against his old team, the Atlanta Swarm, where obviously Jacksonville comes out the victor in that game, but still, that is going to be the most exciting game of the day.
I think that's actually the best storyline, Chad. Do you see a better storyline in here? You know, I think a lot of us were expecting more storyline games. Is that the only one that really stands out to you, or is there another one?
I mean, that's a pretty good one, right? Like to have that game, you know, where Marcus Dunhill is going to go to Atlanta to play against his former team. You know, Louisiana and Vancouver, I think, will be a good game as well. You know, storyline wise, Arizona and Queen City, you know, BJ Loveless, you know, moving on and becoming the GM of Queen City.
Yeah.
That could be an interesting game as well. You know, all of these are going to be good games, I think, in my mind. I think that, you know, the league did a good job of, you know, picking the games. But those ones that I mentioned are the ones that kind of stick out to me.
Okay. Coach, I don't know if you have the graphic up in front of you or not. I can reread it if you don't. But if of those 6 games, what stands out the most to you?
Give me that one real quick because I'm trying to pull it up and it's not coming up.
Oh, okay. No, that's all right. It's well, let me see. Chad just talked about Arizona, Queen City. Mike talked about Jacksonville,
Right.
Atlanta. So we've got London, Fort Worth, Vegas, Mexico City, Lone Star, Carolina, and then the nightcap is Louisiana, Vancouver.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll leave alone the Louisiana, Vancouver because that's my own team. You know, started in Vancouver. Blah 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 blah.
Right.
You know, the one that interests me is Vegas, because again, for a lot of the same reasons that I'm intrigued by Arizona. It's an up and down season, finished on a high note, was doing really well, and made the playoffs. And you know, are they going to continue that? And by week 3, what are we going to see from Vegas? Are they going to be, you know, 0-2, 1-1? What are we going to see? And that's a game against a proven coach and a proven team that it could show us a little bit of what Vegas is made of. So that's a game that stands out to me as being interesting.
Okay, Bubba, you got the last word on this line of questioning. Is that a Yangling? Dude, those are yummy. Is that the lager?
This is a Yangling lager.
Yep.
Nothing else.
That's good stuff. All right, so Bubba, I would like you to touch on either London, Fort Worth, Lone Star, Carolina, or Louisiana, Vancouver.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll stay away from the Lone Star game because, you know, that's my brother's team, and I don't want to pick on him, so I'm going to go ahead and stay away from that, all right?
All right.
So what were my other two? This is the Yinglings kicking in. I'm sorry. What were my other 2 options?
London, Fort Worth. So an up-and-coming awesome free agent team in London against the South Division champs last season, or Louisiana and all their free agents going against Vancouver, who went to the Final Four.
Yeah, I think I want to talk about that Louisiana-Vancouver game. I tell you what, because we already know that Kendra Hall is a phenomenal receiver out there. Now they got her, you know, GM and things and doing all kind of recruiting and whatnot. So you already know Vancouver's going to have something special up their sleeve. Now, here comes Louisiana with, like they like to call it, the great heist. You know what I mean? I don't know about all that, but I tell you what, they signed 3 phenomenal free agents. And now, I tell you, it's going to be a great game. You got a lot of superstars. Oh, I see you, Coach Craven. Put your hand down. We know y'all got a nice squad. All right. Now, that doesn't change the fact that Vancouver had the highest flying offense of any team in the SFL. Now, what are you going to do, Coach Craven? What are you going to do? Huh? You and Doug Day, y'all going to be running all over the doggone field trying to stop their doggone offense. So what are you going to do? That's the game I'm looking for.
Okay. All right.
Words, 2 words, gap responsibility.
There
You
you
take
go.
care of your gap and leave it for the rest of your team.
Thought those 2 words were going to be Bash Brothers.
Let me tell you something. My brother, let me tell you something, Coach. I know how to take care of my gap responsibilities, if you know what I mean.
All right, Bubba. Thanks again for that. I want to go through a few more things, and then maybe I got some announcements, and we'll get to After Dark as well. A few more teams that I want to talk about. Mike All. Coach and I touched on this a little bit, and I think somebody else did too. Sioux Falls, complete opposite season last season that we expected them to have, with having everybody except for Jalen Wells return. Maybe they turn things around this season offensively. Who knows? But their schedule, they start off with San Diego, like we talked about before. Then they have to hit Tulsa, LA, Portland, Lone Star, Arizona, and Vancouver. All of those playoff teams except for one. Then they get Charleston. Then they wrap up with Vegas, Arizona, Houston, and Denver. I don't think that's a very kind schedule for a team that went. I don't remember what their record was. Were they 3-8, I think, or something, or whatever it was. For that, you would think that a team that didn't do that well would get a little easier schedule, or maybe there just isn't an easy schedule in the SFL anymore. But what are your thoughts on Sioux Falls?
Like I said, I think Sioux Falls, in their wall of silence, as Coach put it, I think they're figuring out legend setting. I think they're getting their offense reset and reworking it around what needs to be done to win. And despite some very, very tough games on that schedule, I think they're going to do better than they did last season. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but I do think they're going to do better than last season.
Okay. Chad, speaking of a team that didn't make the playoffs and that started off kind of rough, but they got some Lone Star luck in week 8, I believe it was, when they won their first game against Lone Star, and were competitive in nearly every other game. We're talking about DC. DC plays at Vancouver, then they play Vegas, Charleston, and then Mexico City, Louisiana, Baltimore, Atlanta. Those 4. That's a tough stretch. Then they have to go to Portland. They get Queen City. They host Jacksonville. Then they need to travel to London, and they wrap up at Queen City. Does DC have a better record this season than last season? And if so, tell me why. And if not, why not?
Yeah, I think they do. I think that I didn't even know what's going on there. Okay, so
is the chat getting crazy again?
Oh, I was looking at Mike All. He was.
Oh, Mike All. Oh, Mike Hall. So Mike Hall and Nate Hall had a baby. Is that right, Bubba? Is that how that works?
Nate was the woman.
Tell you what, I didn't say that, Dave Axies, but that'll be one ugly baby.
Oh shit! Chad, please finish.
Oh, dude. I mean, first of all, I'm jealous of Bubba. And he's got some Yinglings. I am going to bring a case of Yingling down to the convention. So
there you go.
That case will last maybe 5 minutes. So, DC, this is a team that, like you said, kind of like once they got, and beat you guys, they really turned it around and had a really good back half of that season, right? And so with that, I think the momentum, plus you got, veteran coaching, right? Obviously. So the momentum from what they got last season, plus, the players that they're able to get. Peanut Say, I think, was a great signing for them as well, coming over from LA.
Yeah, he ran all over us that game. Yeah.
Yeah, Peanut. No, that's Kevin.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kevin. Yeah. Sorry.
Peanut stays in the secondary. So if I remember correctly, so Peanut Say probably teaming up with Jack Russell, I assume.
Right.
Yeah. And Kanye Rockefeller to really be a really good force in that secondary. This is going to be a tough team. I think I'm trying to remember what their record was. I think they were 3-7, or not 3-7. Gosh, 3-9. I think I'm not sure,
so.
but
I think so.
regardless, I think they improved this next season. Progression system coming in. Once again, you're going to have synergy that's going to be progress even more. I think he did switch positions as well, Eddie, if I remember correctly. But either way, this is going to be a team that's going to be better than they were last season.
Okay. Hey, Coach, were you able to find those graphics by any chance? Are you?
Correct.
What's that?
I quit looking after I talked. Sorry. On the games.
Yeah, I'm
No.
sorry. The schedules that Eagle posted for us in that other room. I just pinged you. I just tagged you in it because I want to get because I'm going to ask you a double question here, and I want to make sure you had the information in front of you.
Gotcha. I'm looking right at it. Right
Okay.
at it.
All right. So I want you to talk about two teams. One team, both of these teams, started off on fire last season. Both faltered down the stretch, and both barely squeaked into the playoffs. I'm talking about St. Louis, and I'm talking about Los Angeles. As we look at their schedules, I'll go over St. Louis first. At Tulsa, which I think is a great Week 1 game after their matchup last season. To get, St. Louis had to win that game to get into the playoffs. Then they play at LA, the other team we're going to talk about right now. They play Baltimore, San Diego. Then they get Jacksonville, Mexico City, and Florida. Murderers Row right there. Tulsa, San Diego again, and they wrap up with another one: Vancouver, Louisiana, and Atlanta. Let me say LA's schedule too real quick, and since you have them in front of you, you can comment easier. LA, they have to play at Baltimore. They play St. Louis, Sioux Falls, and then Houston, Vancouver, Fort Worth, Arizona, and Lone Star. 5 games in a row right there. And then they get Portland, Louisiana, wrap up with Vancouver and San Diego. Based on these two schedules that are in front of you that you're looking at, can you see either of these teams coming out the gate like they did last season? And do you see either one of them being able to keep going with that momentum instead of losing it like they did last season?
Well, certainly St. Louis, based on history, it looks like an easier start, right?
Right.
Because LA's got two seasons ago champion.
Yep.
St. Louis. They've got some what look like potentially tougher teams on there, but St. Louis has got some of those same teams, and then of course they play each other. So somebody's going to come up on the short end on that. I think the thing for both of these teams is, have they found it? I think the thing that happened with them is they were almost, not exactly, but almost a one-trick pony on offense. There wasn't a lot of variety there. And a second season, not a lot of turnover for both of those teams. Their coaches are only going to get better. I think, if I'm not if I'm not mistaken, LA maybe added a coach this year.
Possibly.
That doesn't matter. Yeah. So if they can diversify a little bit and be able to move the ball when they need to. James Richards, yes, there it is.
Okay.
They added a coach. So again, you got to be able to score. You got to be able to move the ball at least a little bit. Consistency. You don't have to score a ton of points, but you got to score enough that your defense isn't on the field all day. St. Louis, that was one of the problems they run into. They just couldn't put the points together when they really needed them. And then I thought early on that LA was doing a good job. I thought they were going to be riding Johnson like death.
Yeah,
but I didn't see a lot from their offense. Early on there, I was seeing more variety, but then that seemed to kind of go by the wayside just a little bit down the stretch. So that's the question. Can they have enough variety? And I think they can. I think the moves they made or the progressions that have happened, they have a chance to do that. But that's the big question for those teams, to maintain any momentum that they might get. Which who knows with those schedules? Those aren't easy schedules. And I think both of them had a couple of what we would call upsets early last season that contributed to that fast start.
Right.
So.
Okay. Before I go to Bubba, who's not on screen anymore, I don't even know if we can hear him or anything. We're gonna go to Bubba for the last question on this.
I'm here, Dave.
And
I had too much yingling. Expected it affect the dingaling. I'm here, Dave.
Okay. Are you not going to be on camera anymore? I just need to know.
Mike St. Green knocked my pants off. Now I'm having somebody knock my top off. I'm naked, Dave.
All right. I'm going to go to you in just a moment. Before I do, I wanted to take a moment to say congratulations to a very good friend of mine, who I have called my left-hand man many times, as he has helped me get this show off the ground back in the day. He's been running my server since day one, and that congratulations goes to Eagle Mondavi, who is now, I believe it's 20% minority ownership of the St. Louis Gladiators. So big props to Eagle. Congrats, bro. Proud of you and happy for you. So hopefully Eagle's listening tonight, and congrats to you, bro. What are we talking about? I got to go to the chat before I go back to Bubba. I am naked, Dave. Line of season 17. No shit, right? Bubba's killing me. I'm naked, Dave. Bubba Dacious 2021. I guess that's going to be the next shirt. Wow. Bubba, do you have the graphics in front of you as well?
I don't know what you're talking about, Dave. What graphic?
The schedule graphics that Eagle.
Okay.
That Eagle.
Yeah, I got you. What team you want me looking at?
I'm gonna have you look at a few teams. I'm gonna wrap this questioning up, and you can just look at them. I won't go through them all because there's 4 teams, but I want you to kind of just look them over. The toughest division in the SFL last season was the South. It was the Tex-Mex division. You had 4 competitive teams. Chad is the one who messed up all 4 teams going to the playoffs on the very last game of the season in week 16 and a half, if you will. What I want to ask you is, number one, do you think Fort Worth has what it? And I'm hoping that you're looking at the schedules, because obviously this question is based off their schedules. Does Fort Worth have what it takes to repeat as South Division champs? And if not, who do you think has the best schedule to get to the top of the South Division between Mexico City, Lone Star, and Houston? I know it's a big question, but it's a big division. So, and apparently you're a big boy, so you can.
Well, you know what, Dave? I'm gonna tell you, you used a lot of words in those questions, but I'll try my best to answer. All right,
I
so
appreciate that.
Taking a look here at this schedule, I see the Fort Worth Toreros. Now, you gotta understand, I'm a little bit of a homer. As much as I talk about my brother, he's the ugly one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As much as I talk about him, I got to go for Lone Star Glory coming out that division, you know what I mean? Now, that being said, taking a look at this schedule for the Fort Worth Toros, which is a mighty fine name, if I might say myself, you know, being from down that way. Now, looking through this schedule, I'm going, okay, start off Queen City. All right, Arizona, London. Uh-oh, now it gets tasty. Now we get a little spicy. Okay, London, Florida. Oh, then there's Charleston. Okay, all right, Los Angeles. Then there we go. There's Lone Star. Look at there. San Diego. All right, well, I'm going to leave them alone. I understand my brother picks on them all the time.
He does.
All right, so here's what I'm looking at. Definitely see a playoff berth here for Fort Worth. They got a solid management team. They got a solid crew of players. That Robert Garrett Jr. is one of the best at his position. And I see a playoff berth there. I give them 7-5 at least. You know what I mean?
Okay, let me ask you this real quick. You know,
I wish you could see me, Dave. My nipple got a ripple.
I'm glad I can't see you. First of all, the last game of season 16, Lone Star and Fort Worth, that was a game for the ages. I was shocked that was not up for game of the season. But we get to play the last game of the season again. Lone Star, I believe it's 3-0 now. We've only played each other 3 times. 3-0 against Fort Worth. Obviously, we're their biggest competition. We're rivals. Do you see Lone Star sweeping Fort Worth again? Do you think it'll be a split, or do you see Fort Worth sweeping Lone Star?
Does a monkey throw poop, Dave? All right, well then you already know who's gonna take that win. Don't ask me no silly question. Does a monkey throw poop, Dave?
I'm guessing so. All right, so real quick, you looked over Houston and Mexico City. Who seems to have a more favorable schedule? And then I need your prediction on who you think is going to win the South Division.
All right, so let's try to be as objectionable as objection, whatever that word is. You know what I mean? You know the one where you're just fair all the way around the board.
Objective.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Let's try to be objective here. So, looking at the schedule, of course. So, Houston, we got Dr. Sim. You know who that guy is. I expect they'll do all right. In my opinion, Dave.
Yeah.
I think, again, this is going to be the toughest division in the SFL. And it would not surprise me if you got a minimum of 3 more teams coming out of the South Division. At least 3, if not 4. So I expect Houston to do, I'll say, as good as they did last season. I don't think they'll do any better. Let's be honest. But they didn't do bad. All right. They didn't do bad last season. But looking at the schedule, Portland is much improved. San Diego. Tulsa, then you got Los Angeles. They're always a tough out. Queen City, well, they're kind of a wild card. We don't really know what they're going to do because they're rebuilding. Then you got Florida, and that's trouble. Mexico City, they're always tough. Carolina, well, we never know. And Fort Worth, that's going to be real tough for Houston. But I'll tell you what, I hope they beat each other's brains out. I know that much. That'll make it easier for Lone Star. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
And then Sioux Falls in Mexico. So Houston's got a tough schedule. They'll probably do as good, but no better. Maybe as good. And then the other team we're looking at, who did you say?
Mexico City.
Mexico City. I got Mexico City, and I don't want to say, but this is I put it like this, Dave. This is a tough division, and somebody has to end up at the bottom. Now, I'm not taking nothing away from Mexico City because they can shock us all. But somebody's got to end up at the bottom. And I tell you what, it sure ain't going to be LSG, and I don't think it's going to be Fort Worth. So how about we let Mexico City and Houston battle it out for that third and last wild card spot? How about that?
That sounds like a plan to me, bro. That sounds like a plan to me. All right.
I wish you could see me, Dave. My nipples will make you proud.
I'm sure they would. You know what you can do is you can DM pictures of them to Cam, and then he can send them to me. Oh, crap. All right. Houston, what is DR Sim saying? Houston failed to the bottom last season. I have no problem starting there. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, DR and Bubba and everybody else, our division was off the chain, and it's going to be off the chain again. It is what it is. I have a few announcements real quick, and then I want to go into After Dark. Chad, hopefully, are we getting any of your guys on? Have we heard from Johnny or MSG or anybody?
You're getting some, yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, real quick. Quick reminders. Make sure you guys catch AJ's show. I know she put one out. Yes. What is today? I lost. Oh, today's Tuesday. Was that today, AJ? Or was that yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Coach, you got anything coming out this week?
I will probably put something out.
Okay.
Haven't got that fully fleshed out yet, but there's some ideas there.
Okay. So look for that probably later in the week. Of course, Nelson was on last night. He'll be on again Friday. And then Friday night before Nelson, I'm assuming Eddie will be back with episode 2 of Say It With Your Chest around 7:30 Eastern time, I think that was. 7:30 Eastern time. Let's go into After Dark. Let's see who we can get on here. Because I got to tell you, I was pretty impressed with this London free agency that they showed the entire league. Oh, look at this. Hold on. Ashley just dropped something at 10:24 p.m. Tomorrow night at 6 p.m. She'll have a show. So there you go. And then what does this say? Eddie Gage says considering Saturday or next Friday. Okay, so he's going to skip this week, and then he'll move on to next week. Master Gunner 5, thank you for that. Appreciate that. Let's see who we have in the green room, if anybody yet. Chad, what's the deal? We got anybody coming in?
I know one. I'm just waiting to see if he's coming in or not.
Okay. I also DM'd Johnny as well.
Okay.
In the meantime, go ahead, Chad. What'd you say?
No, I was just saying I haven't heard from Johnny, so probably not.
Okay.
Johnny.
All right. Well, if I'd love to see how do I get in the green room? Oh, that's an Eagle thing. Let me check you. Let me check real quick, Mike. MSG. Do you see the green room? If you don't see it, do you see the after dark waiting room? Do you see if you see any voice rooms, you can just jump in any of them and I can move you.
Yeah, he should be able to just jump in the green room.
You should be able. Yeah, but we did some special things to keep mystery panelists hidden from people. So not any. Sometimes people can't get in there. So I will find Mike St. Green right now and put him in.
Eagle's working on it.
Oh, does Eagle say he's working on it?
He said, "Hold on."
Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. So Chad, if you hear from Johnny or anybody else, let me know. Did we talk about everybody when I asked you earlier? Were you able to talk about all of the free agents that we talked about on the show?
I talked about everyone except for one, which is the one I can't announce yet.
The one you can't talk about yet. Okay. All right.
So there he is.
All right. Okay. Perfect. All right, ladies and gentlemen, one of the newest London Knights, Sir Mike St. Green, is in the house. Mike, how you doing, bro? Welcome back to the show.
Hey, Dave, man, it's good to be on. Yeah, man, great to be on with you guys.
So, Mike, we heard a little bit. Obviously, there were some technical issues or whatever on the show, so we only got to hear, I think, a song. But you talked a little bit about it with Cam on the schedule release show. But kind of take us through a little more detail on how and when all this went down. I know you said you were talking to somebody else, whatever, but then they really impressed you. And how did that all go down?
Well, yeah, Dave, first of all, man, they, I kind of forgive them for messing up my entrance. That was mystical. Here I go. That's what I was letting London know that I was in town, letting SFL know that I was in London, but it was all in great fun, man. I wish it could have gone off the way that I wanted to, but man, it was just cool seeing the show. I really enjoyed Johnny's presentation to get everything kicked off tonight. But yeah, man, I actually, went back and, looked at earlier conversations with Chad. He was basically one of the first guys to reach out to me once I declared my free agency. And he said that they were maybe third on the list. London was nowhere on my radar before I talked to Chad. And that's what the funny thing was.
That's what I said. The list, bottom third of the list.
I don't even know if you made it that far, to be totally honest with you, man. But man, from conversation one, I was completely impressed with Chad. His approach seemed how do you want to say it? Seemed intentional. Mm-hmm. They really seemed like they targeted me. They wanted me there. And he and I basically just had a genuine conversation from day one. But funny thing is, my initial question to Chad was how married was London to the yellow socks? I mean, that was I didn't know how I felt about the yellow socks.
Hey, trust me, I understand the whole diva looking good thing. I get it, bro.
Hey, man, yeah. Receivers want, we're divas. We want to look good on the field as well as play well. So that was one of the first questions.
Look good, feel good, play good, baby.
Yeah, so that was one of the first questions, man. We had a good laugh about that, and like I said, man, they were very intentional in their approach as to, it seems like, what they wanted for the team, who they wanted for the team, and how they wanted to approach season 17. And I was just impressed with these guys from the very, very start.
So if I can ask, and if you're willing to talk about it, what was your decision to leave Jacksonville? And I know Mike All is on the panel here. I believe Mike was just barely the GM for the last half of the season. But we all know Mike's a great guy. So is there anything that you can talk about on what was surrounding your decision to leave Jacksonville to begin with?
Yeah, Dave, hey man, trust me, I've seen and heard and watched your show a lot. I mean, I know how things could be on your show. And Mike, we've definitely talked about this, of course. Um, but I lean towards the side of discretion. Let's just say. I'm going to give you something. Trust me, because I think it's something that's probably just needs to that I need to kind of get off my chest a little bit, and probably people are questioning once Gossett retired, why did this guy leave? I mean, I would ask that question myself. But I'll just leave it at philosophical differences, and and things probably just didn't go the way that I wanted them to go at the end of the day, or put it like this, I just wish things would have been more open as to what was going on and how it was going on, and that was one of the things I did talk about with Chad, was that openness and honesty and integrity are big on my book, and so that was a lot that went into that decision.
Gotcha. So, first of all, I need to ask, what was Chad's response about the Yellow Sox, and are they going to get rid of them this season?
From what I understand, Dave, the Yellow Sox were probably gone the minute I mentioned no Yellow Sox, but we'll see throughout the season if they show up. But hey, man, they can get nostalgic every now and again and maybe break them out once or so, once or twice maybe. But from the way I understand it, they're leaving because of quite a few of the free agents like, hey, yeah, let's get rid of the Yellow Sox.
Gotcha. Real quick, Mike, stay with us for a moment, but the guy who's going to be throwing you the ball in London, Mr. Johnny 2K, Johnny Pickler himself, has just entered the show. Johnny, welcome to the show, bro. Good to see you. How you feeling tonight? You're muted, bro.
Damn it, Johnny.
Damn it, Johnny.
Damn it, Johnny.
Oh, he's even out. He's out of the. He just bounced out of the room. He must have been having technical difficulties. How about now, Johnny? Is that better? Easier? He bounced out again. Dude, it's like he doesn't want to be here. I mean, Johnny. He's kind of shy. He kind of shies away from attention. Johnny,
say it with your chest, Johnny.
Say it with your chest, Johnny. Oh, Gunny's keeping track. 5 muted bros tonight. Johnny, I don't know what's going on. You got to unmute yourself for starters. I don't know why you're jumping in and out. Mike St. Green, I hope he has better success throwing you the ball than he has getting in our room here.
There we go.
Yeah, I'll tell you what was interesting at the minute we're talking about Johnny. Like I said, and during the negotiations, I mean, like it was an interesting process, man. I'm not going to give away any of London's secrets, man, but these guys did if I was a college recruit, let's say per se, these guys did a good job of making me feel wanted, making you feel special. I mean, the day after I talked to these guys, the initial conversation, these guys had uniform mock-ups. They had a banner with my name on. I mean, these guys, just they did a great job of what they were doing. Like I said, they really felt intentional about what they wanted to do. And it's funny. I remember our first conversation about the possibility of bringing Johnny on. It was just kind of funny, because it is what it is. We all know Johnny's a lightning rod in this league. You either love him or hate him, it seems like. And I remember the eggshells that Chad was kind of on about how I felt about that. And to be honest with you, I like Johnny. I never really had any real conversations with him per se, but I've been around since season 14 when Johnny pretty much first came on the scene, and I just like what he's brought to the table to the league in general. Because in a lot of ways, I think he made a lot of people step up their content game. I just think he's been a plus in a whole lot of ways. Like I said, some people there's a turnoff for me. I kind of can separate the two between the person and the persona, and he's cool with me, man. I'm looking forward to catching a whole lot of passes from him.
That's good to hear. Well, let's see if he can step up his game on this show. Johnny, you're with us? Killing me, bro. Absolutely killing me right now.
Killing me, Smalls.
Dude, look at he's in the room. I can see him.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Johnny, what are you doing, bro? Maybe it's Eagle's fault. Maybe Eagle. You know what? Let's hashtag blame Eagle. That's a lot easier to do.
The Eagle's in here now, so we can.
It is not my fault.
All I did was say that, and then Eagle jumps in here. What the hell? What's going on with him then, Eagle?
Operator error.
Probably. Real quick, Eagle, while I have you on here, just wanted to say again, congrats on your minority ownership in St. Louis. Um, did you know that this was coming for a while? Is it a last minute development kind of thing? Give us a little history behind that.
Yeah, sure. It's been in the talks for, a few weeks now, for a little bit. But we wanted to make sure that everybody was on par with the vision that all four of us had for St. Louis. Colin, Dwayne, and Drew were nice enough to open their doors to me, and I think we've done very well so far since I've been in the league. Recruiting wise, player wise, I mean, it's not even talked about, and it hasn't been talked about. St. Louis this year will not be drafting a quarterback in the rookie draft for the
Right.
first time, and I can't tell you how long.
Right.
No, I'm just excited. I really am. I'm happy to be involved with Colin, Dwayne, and Drew, and to help continue and move St. Louis to the next step.
That's nice. Hey, real quick in the chat, Gunny says Johnny's using that military crank phone from the Korean War. Hey, you know how it is, Gunny. Everything in the Army, it doesn't work right. Um, if Johnny, just keep trying to get in, bro. I don't know what else to tell you. He said, Eagle, real quick, he just DM'd me, and he said every time he jumps in, it says that it's disconnected. Does he not have permission to be in that room?
He should, but I can
You want to
I
just
can
double check that?
double and triple check and
Okay.
everything. Yeah,
Let's
give me
see.
a minute.
All right, I just put him back in here too. In the meantime, Mike St. Green. Speaking of Army stuff, Mike St. Green, I heard a rumor that you were in the Army. Is that correct?
You're 100% correct, Dave.
And Johnny was in the Army.
Well, I'd assume so. I
He
might, like I
was.
said, I've never.
No, Johnny
Okay,
was in
okay.
the Army. So you guys are building some
And
kind of London Army over there, Army Knights.
well,
or
yeah,
something.
and I wasn't just in the Army. I was a proud member of the 82nd Airborne. Jumped out of a few perfectly good airplanes over my time.
Nice. Well, that's good to hear that you guys are going to have that veteran thing going on over there like we do in Lone Star. That's really cool.
Yeah, and can I add one thing, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I spoke with this guy today, finally, after how many days of off season and free agency. And Chad will tell you because he pretty much figured it out. And I think he knew what I was talking about. I said, "Hey, man, I think we're a go. I'm pretty positive about what's going on, but I'm waiting to hear from one certain team in the playoffs. That's I'm waiting till their season's done, but." I didn't hear from the guy until today, not to recruit me, but yeah, it was kind of surprised I didn't hear from him. But hey, I have nothing but love for him, and I know what they're trying to do out that way in the desert, so everybody knows who I'm speaking of. And but yeah, I was waiting to hear from a certain team out that way and never heard from them. But hey, I'm home now, glad to be where I am, and looking forward to getting London over the top into the playoffs and beyond that.
Well, Mike, I want to say, first of all, congratulations. It looks like you guys are making a big splash over there across the pond, and thanks for coming on the show tonight.
Hey, Dave, thanks for having me on, man. I'm always listening. Hey, and also congratulations on your number 100, man. Keep doing what you're doing, and looking forward to continue to hear you in the future, brother.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. We're gonna.
You knocked my pants off. I'm in my drawers.
Hey, I think we're going to wrap this shindig up, and what I think I'm going to do, I don't know why Johnny's having technical issues. He's been on the show 100 times before, so I think what we'll do is we'll save Johnny for Thursday night, and anybody else, Chad, that you have that might want to pop on Thursday night after dark would be fine. We are going to touch on some of this stuff again Thursday night so we can get more in depth because we weren't able to touch all the teams tonight when we went through the schedule, so we'll do the rest of those on Thursday. Also on Thursday, I have a very big, a very special, I'll just say very big, a very bigger, Mike. Bigger, go big. Go big or stay home.
That's what she said,
That's
Dave.
what she said. I have a very, very big, quite possibly the biggest announcement I've ever had on this show.
Hey, Dave.
Yes.
He finally got his microphone working.
Oh, Johnny did. Of course he did. I'll come back to him in just a second then. But I just want to let you guys know, show 102, which is also, don't forget, Gunny's 100th show on Thursday. But I will have a very big show announcement on Thursday, quite possibly the biggest announcement we've ever had on this show. Johnny, are you finally here or what?
I am, man. You know me making a little bit of
Frickin' diva.
late entrance. I'm at a party right now.
Of course you are.
Celebrating the London signing.
Yeah.
And a birthday of an in-law. And I got tapped on the shoulder by multiple people saying that this guy Dave Axies has a show right now, and that there's something worth talking about. So
yeah, there you go.
So I'm here for you.
So, all right, I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked Mike St. Green. How long has this been in the works? How did it go down? Did you have other teams in the running, or was it just, a courtship by your buddy Chad, and it was a one-and-done kind of thing? Kind of take us through the process real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try and keep it short. It was, as soon as it was clear to Chad and London leadership that I had issues, in Louisiana, they made a play at me, and I was very receptive to it. They were the first movers. I will say, I had 5 other offers on the table. I don't know if they're official offers. I at least had 5 other GMs / leaders of other teams, reaching out to me, asking me if, about the idea of me being the quarterback for their organizations. You can probably connect the dots on all the other organizations that need quarterbacks. Right out of the bat, the flat difference between, London and those organizations is that, all of them needed to fill a spot. They wouldn't have come to me if they didn't have an open spot for a quarterback. London, it was the opposite. If I didn't come to London, Chad and the guys in London made it, and Angus himself made it clear that Angus would still be the London quarterback next year. So that says something special to me, right? I mean, it's very special to me right there. The fact that London, said that, we see a guy who's special in Johnny Pickler that can take the torch from Angus. Angus took the time. Him and I had long conversations. He didn't want to retire until he was confident who he'd be passing the torch to. And he was confident enough to retire once he knew that I was a lock for last season. So you can basically put together dates, and when Angus's retirement was made, it was already a done deal between me and London. I think Chad will tell you, and all the guys in London will tell you that if I wasn't going to be a Knight, that Angus would be their quarterback this season. So all the other teams, they came to me, but they came to me out of a need, out of desperation. They didn't come to me because they wanted me as bad as London wanted me. So that meant a lot, if that answers your question.
It does answer my question. Your phone's actually going in and out. So if you're able to be on Thursday night, I'd like to ask you a few more questions, and maybe we'll have some better tech. We'll have a better technical.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll get on my PC. I'll have less booze in me, and we'll be good to go for Thursday, brother. And right. Bring it at me. Let's go. Let's go Knights, and congrats on another show, Dave.
Thank you, bro.
Appreciate you.
Oh, yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate it. I'll see you Thursday night, bro.
Sounds good, bud.
All right, everybody. Let's wrap that up. I want to do some final thoughts, though, real quick through the panel. Michael, starting with you. We talked about a lot tonight. We've had a lot going on the last few hours since 7 o'clock this evening. We're talking. We talked SFL Minor League Championship. We talked the London show, the schedule release show, a bunch of team schedules. We just talked with Mike St. Green and Johnny. There was just so much to talk about. I'm sure I probably missed something. SFLm championship game, if I didn't say that. Just final thoughts on any of the stuff that we've talked about this evening.
Well, since I didn't get to speak earlier, I just want to say how proud I am of all the guys and girls in the Salt Lake City locker room. They were nothing but positive, upbeat team players all season long, and they earned the championship that they got, and I'm proud of all of them.
Awesome. Okay. Chad, how about you?
There. Okay. I couldn't find my mouse. Long night.
Before I hit the "you're muted, bro" button, go ahead.
Yeah, you about did. I know. Just another great night in the SFL. Being able to talk finally about free agency, at least on my end. Seeing the schedule, seeing who these teams are going to play, just talking about how teams are going to be this next season. I'm just pumped up about it, and can't wait to see some more signings flow. And then this weekend, we have the SFL draft. I don't know if I'm allowed. I guess I can say that I'm part of the panel. So, you'll be seeing my bright, shiny face. And then I also heard a little rumor just really quick that my favorite sideline reporter in the entire world is finally back in the country.
What?
And it will be writing up a mock.
Really?
For this weekend. So look for Jason's mock draft coming out here in the next day or two.
Awesome. It's been a minute. He's been gone a long time. I don't know where he's been, but maybe he'll tell us all about it.
Well, he was in Colombia for a little while. Visiting some friends he had. He's been doing some lines. I think he's been hanging out with Greg Soto too much. But
that can never be a good thing.
Never be a good thing. But yeah, he's back in the country. He got through security. The rubber glove was gentle, and he's ready to write up a mock draft for this SFL. He's been paying attention, so
awesome.
he's pretty.
Well, when you talk to him, see if he'll come back on the show at all. It'd be nice to get him back on the show. Sounds good. All right, Coach. Final thoughts from you.
Hey, this is always a fun time of the season. Seeing stuff start to come together. A little bit of the bullshit. That's always fun too. And I got to say, I've been watching some of the chat going on there, and I can see that Tony Roberto and Johnny are good friends. And same old shit. So enjoy that. That'll be fun for you. Another great show as always, Dave.
All right, Coach. Thank you. And do I dare give the last word to Bubba? Bubba, final thoughts on tonight's show and all the things that went on this evening.
You know what, Dave? I'm going to tell you something, man. It's been a real pleasure filling in for my brother. All right, and then I'll tell you, I'm so glad that you gave me the opportunity to be secret panelist, And I'm going to tell you, looking at the SFL, when y'all let me fill in, I got to tell you, I was happier than a call girl in a cornfield. I'm going to tell you, I was so happy to go ahead and fill in for you. And anytime y'all want me to come through, if I'm around, you better believe I'll be happy to do it. All right. I thank y'all, SFL, for allowing me to fill in. And I'll tell you what, the SFL season is going to be great. The expectations are higher than a cocaine cowboy, Dave. Let's get it.
Well, maybe I'll leave it up to the party people to vote on whether they want to have you back. That might be, maybe we'll put that, Eagle, maybe we should put that in the Access Live server to see if people want Bubba back or if they like Bo better. You have to choose. You have to pick Bo versus Bubba. It's on the brother, what is it? The bro down. How about that? We'll have the bro down vote. That sounds awesome. All right. We're going to wrap this shindig up. Went a little long, but we had a lot to talk about. We had a lot of catching up to do. We had a long SFL night, which is always awesome. Don't forget Ashley dropping tomorrow night. Coach later in the week. Eddie's going to skip a week. And then you got Nelson on Friday. Special thanks to Mike all outside his house. Thanks and congrats to Chad Rowland. London blowing up free agency tonight. Special thanks to Coach for popping back on again as well. And, of course, to my main man, Gunny, to Eagle, to Johnny, to Mike St. Green, to B. Robo, to Ross Napoli, to Mike Twinscrew, and, of course, Mr. Bubba Dacious for filling in for his brother, Bo. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate everybody. Thanks for being in the chat. We'll do it again here in about 48 hours on Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Right here on Twitch.
Naked, Dave.
When we'll see you at the tees.